Hi everyone, my name is Tsivileva Julia and I represent REVERA Cyprus. Today we will, with the partner of our company, Savvas, we will talk about the creation of the company in Cyprus, the next steps, and then the useful recommendation for all the owners of the companies. First of all, I would like to start with to represent our company. 1 second, I will share my screen with you. So, REVERA Law Group is an international law group where work more than 80 lawyers. We've been on the market for more than 25 years, and we have 6 offices in Belarus, Ukraine, Georgia, Poland, Kazakhstan, and Cyprus. And also we have 2 legal panels, one in UAE and the second one in Curacao. So let's start with our webinar. Let's start with the first steps for any company. First of all, when you decide that you want a company in Cyprus, you should think of first question is, will it be the new company which you will incorporate, or will it be a shelf company which you will buy? If it will be a new company, first of all, you should think about the name of the company, because before registration, you should check the availability of this name in the registry to avoid the confusion of the names. If you buy a shelf company, then there is some existing name of this company. If you like it, you can keep it. But if you don't like it, you can change it. But also you should first get approval of the register. After the name of the company, you should decide on the register address. And it's very important and it's a key point, because it's official mailing address of your company, where you will receive all the official documentation from the authorities, all the requests, everything. And if you miss something, you can be fined for the late answer, for example. That's why it's very important to have an access to this mailing address 24/7. Then you should decide about the direct secretary accountant of the company. First, the main guy in the company is director. It can be a company or individual. If it's individual, then there is no restriction in the registration of Cyprus on the citizenship of the director. It can be a Cypriot guy, it can be you, it can be your real CEO, anyone. But you should keep in mind that the director must be legal and tax resident in Cyprus. About the secretary, it's the same. It can be company or individual. And the same, the individual must be legal and tax resident of Cyprus. But please, we suggest to our clients that it must be shall be nominee company who do everything for you, because there are some specific in the legislation, and in order to comply with all the requirements, you need to have some help. So the director, secretary, if it's a nominee company, they will help you with all the issues. They will suggest you something that you don't know. Also, it's obligatory to have an accountant on the staff on the service agreement, because it's crucial to have the good accountant with experience, because in Cyprus, the company calculate all the taxes by themselves. So if you do the mistakes, it could also lead to fines, or if the accountant will forget something or calculate something wrong, because there are a lot of examples when it's not the audit company, some guys who use calculator in internet to count taxes, for example, or to count how to pay payrolls. I saw a lot of mistakes. So, for example, when they're using calculator on internet, they forget that there is a tax deduction, for example, for the employees, for the first employees. But we will talk about a bit later. Also, as I said that you must calculate all the taxes by yourself. Also, you should obtain the TIC number. It's a system of the income tax in Cyprus. You must use this number in order to pay everything. So let's proceed with the employment. First of all, you should think of this question: if you want employees in your company. If yes, then you should think about the nationalities of the potential employees, because the ordinary procedure is that the company can in Cyprus can employ citizens of Cyprus, European Union citizens, spouses of the Cypriot citizens, and spouses of European Union citizens. Also, they can employ refugees or guys from the person with temporary protection. Person with temporary protection is the status which most of the Ukrainian guys in Cyprus have right now. Also they can hire the spouses of the executives of the companies with foreign capital. So if you want to employ to hire employees from non-European European Union countries, you have to first obtain the BFU status. The key point to obtain this status is to transfer 200,000 euro from abroad into a company's share capital, which can be spent only to the statutory activities, or it can be withdrawn as dividends upon liquidation of the company. And we suggest to our clients that if you transfer to the share capital of your company 300,000 euro, you can apply for the permanent residence in Cyprus for you and your family. Also, there are requirements to the labor agreements of the employees of the non-European Union countries. First of all, it's a minimum salary. It's 2,500 euro. Gross, and the term of the contract must be at least 2 years. Also, this employee has to have a diploma of higher education or experience in this position for at least 3 years. And also, you should provide your future employee should provide you the certificate of the criminal records that will say that they don't have any criminal records, so the immigration will reject such employee. So let's talk about the procedure of obtaining this status of the foreign company. First of all, you should collect all the necessary documents. For example, it's lease agreement, which will tell that your company is really situated in Cyprus. All the company's certificates, memorandum, and all other stuff. When you collect all the documentation, you should submit a request via email or post to the business facility unit. We suggest to our clients to send it by post. We do it for themselves, of course, because it can help to speed up the process if it's urgent matter. Usually it takes up to 7 working days to review this application, and then you will have this status, and you can employ guys from non-European Union countries. But please keep in mind that there are some restrictions for this status, that you must employ at least 30% of the employees who are European Union citizens. It's a new rule, but so there haven't been any inspection yet, but it's scheduled to the year 2025. So please keep this in mind. If you employ someone, so you should follow the procedure. First of all, you must register in the employees register of the social insurance service. You apply to any social insurance district office, and then you obtain the number which you will use in order to pay when you pay social contributions. After you got all your tax number, your employee have to register in tax department and obtain tax income number. In Cyprus, it's a progressive personal income tax rate. So, for example, if your employee earns less than 9,500 euro per annually, so the tax rate will be 0. But if they earn more, so the tax rate starts from 20% and up to 35%. Also, there is a system of tax deduction for the first employment in Cyprus. Usual rule is 20%, and if you earn more than 55,000 per year, so the deduction can be 50%, and it keeps with you even if you change your job, but you can also apply for this deduction. So next, it's income tax withholding when you're doing payroll. So the employer is responsible for the withholding and the remitting income tax for employees Also, he must issue annual tax certificate for the employees, and also he must submit to the tax department form IR7, which relates to the payroll of the whole company for the year. It can be done offline or online via tax system net. Plus, your company must register in the National Health Insurance System known as GESI. So the contribution from the employer is 2.9, for the employees 2.65. Also, here you can see the social insurance contributions. It's social insurance from the employer is 8.3 for the employee as well. Redemption fund is 1.2. Training and development fund it's 0.5. Social cohesion fund is 2.0. So in total, the employer must pay 12%, and the employee is responsible for 8.3. But it's the numbers for the 2023, and in 2024 it was increased by for example, social insurance it's 8.9. But look, there is I said that there is a cap in this contribution. So the maximum on the insurance earnings for the 2023 is 1,155 euro per week, 5,005 euro per month, and 60.60 euro per annum. So now my colleague Savva will talk about your first steps in order to start business activities and bookkeeping and audit. Savvas.
Good afternoon. I will talk tonight. I will talk today for some matters that relates to companies that it is important to start your business. First of all, we talk about the Cyprus banks. As you know, in Cyprus, it's very hard to open a bank account. And this started after the year 2013 from the crisis, and it's becoming more stronger AML procedures than ever. We do have some local authorized banks, which the biggest one is Hellenic and Bank of Cyprus, with the newcomer, which is a Korean bank. And then we have still banks, but they are subsidiaries for other banks, which is Alpha Bank, Eurobank, and National Bank of Greece. And the three of them, they are banks of Greece. And there is another one subsidiary, which is a non-EU country. When you apply for to open a bank account as an individual or a joint account, or as a UPO, directors and signatories, you will need the same information to apply to give to the bank, which is the passport, your full details, CV, where you are a tax resident, are you, do you have IRC number? What is your status in Cyprus? Are you visitors? Are you with a permanent resident, employment contract, etc.? If you are married, then they will need you details of your spouse. Most important documents, information you will give is source of wealth and source of funds. And this is where most of the delay is happening from the banks, because based on the source of wealth and source of funds, then the bank will examine who you are, from where you receive money, who you will be paying, etc. For corporate accounts, despite the information they will ask you for individual, they will ask you for the corporate accounts too, which is, first of all, is the group of structure. How difficult, how complicated is your structure? which the most complicated it is, the higher the risk not to open the bank account. The corporate documents, and if there are any nominee services, the trust deeds, if there is financial statements of the company, and most of the times, even they will ask projection of cash flows for at least 3 years. In Cyprus, most of the times to open a bank account as a corporate, you need to have a business address here in Cyprus. So substance matters a lot. And they are even asking to see if there is any employees of the company, not only an office. All the information they will request will be for the UBOs or any interest party into the company, more than 10%. As I said before, the most important factor for the banks is source of wealth and source of funds. Source of wealth, it's a picture of you at the time you apply. It means what kind of properties you have, where is your properties, are they rented out, where is rented out, your, excuse me. Oh, apologize for the. Okay, yeah, Julia is okay now.
Yes, now it's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, I will repeat everything because it's not fair. Okay, apologize for the delay. It looks like I had a miscalculation here in my computer, and my presentation didn't start. I will repeat myself a little bit faster and come back to where we are before. As I said before, we have these 10 institutions in Cyprus. 6 of them, they are local banks. 3 of them, they are subsidiaries, and 1 of them is a subsidiary, but with a non-EU country institution. To open a bank account, they will need from you to receive all the information listed here, which the most important is source of wealth and source of funds. And of course, the purpose of the opening bank account. For the corporate accounts, the important factors is the group structure, because they will request for every company on the group to see the financial statements and the corporate documents, the corporate documents of the company that will open the bank account, and the trustee. The line of business is very important here, and they will request information for all the shareholders more than 10%. Source of wealth and source of funds still the most important factor for companies too. Source of wealth, it's a picture of yourself at the time you apply. So they will accept, they want to see your tax returns, the last 3 to 5 years. They want to see what properties you have, where is your properties. Actually, they want to see the full picture of you and some evidence about what you are saying to them. If you, in this source of wealth, you show cash or a house that is being donated by some of your relatives, then evidence might be important to see, especially when it comes to bank accounts. Source of funds. The source of funds, despite the source of wealth, it's from where you're receiving money now. It means that it's the if you are an employee, the contracts of employment, it can be more than one. If you are self-employee, and as you say in most of the countries, entrepreneur, they need to see your incomes, some major contracts you have, or if you have financial statements or a tax return, they want to see the tax return. If you have any passive incomes, let's say in dividends, interest, or royalties, they want to see the proof that you are a shareholder. They want to see the proof that you are the owner of the royalty and the contracts or any related documents showing the payments to you. As I said about donations, and I repeat myself, because we used to put a lot of things as donations, and now it's not so easy to do so. You have, by the time you put donation, then the donor should be examined and show the same information as I said before. Now, if you sell any assets, like stocks or properties, then here they will request the tax evidence, tax returns, capital gains tax returns, and any other contracts related to transaction. In some cases, the banks don't accept other than English or Greek to review. So we are fighting with this. Sometimes we do translation here in the office to hear the situation. Any bank account must have a signatory. Signatory can be one, can be more than one. Most of the times, the signatory is a UBO. If he uses us as a directors and he wants us to be a signatory, there is no problem. Just additional information and documents must be shared between us to know how and when we will proceed with payments. There is another one section of signatories that they are not related to any corporate documents, and they are key employees. It means someone else that is not a UBO or a director or a shareholder needs to be a signatory. In this case, the banks will request what is the relationship of this person to the company or to the group. Last couple of months, we had some cases that the signatory was employed by a Belarus, a Russian company, and the banks denied him to be a signatory. Value-added tax. We just finished now with the banks, and I would like to point out that since last night, there is a very big scandal related to Cyprus, and it's called Cyprus Confidential Investigation. It's done by reporters around the world, and they published everything last night. This is not related to our banks. Our banks, actually, they are over average compared to standards with other European banks. Is related to fiduciary services, like our fiduciary services, giving help to Russian oligarchs to transfer money out of the sanctions. And the reason I'm saying that, because the 2013 was related to our banks, and our banks become better. Actually, they become so good now with AML that most of the time they prefer not to open their bank account than to risk it. Any company in Cyprus that has trading in Cyprus, not outside of Cyprus, need to have a VAT number. It is important if you work, especially in EU. But nevertheless, even if you don't work in EU, you need to have it, because by law here in Cyprus says clearly that any company that has business that is more than that this business can be in Cyprus will be valuable, it has to be registered. Then we have the 90% standard rate, and we have two other reduced rates, which relates to products here in Cyprus. A company must register when his turnover is more than 50,600, or when it's expected the turnover to be more than 50,600 per year. So me personally, when the company has its first invoice, I register. there are 3 categories in Cyprus of VAT. The 3 categories, it means that every 3 months, one category finish. So here I have the periods, and we must say that every category's deadline, it's 40 days after it's finished. Unfortunately, all the IT companies are the category C. I'd like to examine the situation as per this schedule, that in all the transactions follow up one of these transactions here. So actually, all of these, whatever transaction a company does, it can be categorized in these 6 categories. If the transaction is B2B Cyprus, it means business to business Cyprus, there is a 90% VAT. If it's B2C, which is business to client Cyprus, there is 90% VAT. The B2B transactions, that means that the receiver, the purchaser, has the right to declare the VAT as an input VAT. The most difficult issue that we are facing is the transactions with other European countries. If there is a B2C EU except Cyprus, and if it's less than 10,000 K, so all the invoices should have 90% the Cyprus VAT. B2C means that Cyprus company sells services or goods to a client in EU than Cyprus that is not registered to VAT. If it's more than 10,000 euro per year, then it has to be, this company has to be registered to us. One-stop shop system means that our client's website must be capable of putting VAT on the invoice, recording VAT on the invoice of the country the client is based on his home address. So if you have a German, then you have to put a German VAT. If you have Italian, you have to put Italian VAT. B2B EU requirements of VAT reporting is always 0%. B2B EU means that the client of the Cyprus company is registered to VAT, EU VAT, and qualifies for 0%. There is a validation website when we will see it afterwards. And then there are 2 other categories, that is non-EU, third countries, which either one, B2B or B2C, are always 0 VAT. About penalties, there are various penalties in Cyprus, which are related to VAT, but the most extreme one is when the VAT office can show fraud, then the penalty can be 300% of the value of output VAT as a tax evasion. Any penalties and any amounts owed to the VAT office, there is a 3.5% annual interest. As I stated before, the VS relates to B2B EU clients. So a Cyprus company invoice an EU company. The validation website is here as I showed. You just go in, you have to enter the VAT number that was given by your client, and if it's validated, then you have the right to issue 0% VAT to him for the services or goods. The problem here is, as it's only reportable, the VS, and you don't have to do anything about money and so on, it has to be submitted the 15-day following the reportable month. That means every month you have to do VS. And so that means that you need to send us all the invoices related to VAT to EU clients every beginning of the month for the previous month. The old system came to our lives the last 3-4 years. It's old system, but it was pushed by the EU to be used the last 3-4 years. It's actually a system that gives fairness to countries of EU. For example, Cyprus, 800,000 people receives VAT from German clients. For what reason? With the old system, the Cyprus company will invoice the German clients with German VAT. Cyprus company will pay this German VAT to the Cyprus authorities, and then the Cyprus authority will pay to the German authorities. Here on this schedule, I show the different ways of what applies. The legal entity identifier. You need this number, which is a 20 characters alphanumeric number. When you engage into financial transactions, as the years goes, we do have more and more clients requesting the lei for their companies. The UBO registry. After the Luxembourg case, the UBO registry, nobody knows its future, if it's existing or not, but nevertheless, now it's existing. And as you see, I have here the schedule of if they are all companies, when they will report, and the new companies should report after 30 days of registration. And any changes must be done 14 days after the change. All the UBOs must report that they have 25% plus 1 share. The information given by UBOs are passports, surnames, the natural of the beneficial interest, the day they start being beneficial owners, and the day that they stop being beneficial owners. Cyprus has Cyprus companies have tax obligations towards our government even in monthly basis of the pay as you earn, the social insurance. But here I will focus on 3 things that related to tax. First of all is the annual return, which is due based on the registration date. And the point here that the annual return to be submitted need financial statements of the previous year. The IR7, as my colleague said before, is related to employer's return. And this is actually the document that the employer, the company must submit it to the income tax office and gives all the information, all the money, all the gross salaries, etc., related to his employees. And the IR4 is actually company's tax return, which is based on the financial statements and relates to the financial statements figures. About deadlines, in Cyprus, we are not good with deadlines, but until now we know that for IR7 is 31st of May 2024 for the year 23, and for the IR4 is 31st of March 2024 for the year 2022. Bookkeeping. When we start getting a lot of clients in IT services coming from REVERA, Minsk, Belarus, we had an issue with the VAT. It was very hard to convince them what we need. And we find out that the reason that every country has a different rules and regulations when it comes to bookkeeping. Our regulations to bookkeeping is related to the international standards. So we are using the accrual basis. That means we are not on cash basis, and we actually need everything and to document everything related to the company. In IT services, there are a lot of invoices, a lot of payments, let's say, not invoices, that not produce invoices, especially payments through the internet. Even in this case, we need to have whatever possible to show why the payment is done. But for sure, if you pay VAT in Cyprus and you request from us to request this VAT from the Cyprus government, then a proper invoice, we must have a proper invoice. Cash payment only is not enough. So here I have a list of the documents that I need, but this list, it can be extended. It depends on the company. And I repeat here that for VAT purposes, and the reason I repeat is that it's through the bookkeeping you prepare the VAT form. It's 40 days after each quarter. For VS clients, we will need the invoices related to EU every beginning of the month. As I said before, the deadline is the 15th day after the reportable month. For us clients, even if you are IT services and that you are in category C, you'll be converted to category A. So, and we will need the information of your sales in a breakdown showing the VAT receipt per country. Then after the year finish, then it's a time for the audit. For example, now we are doing the audit of 2022. And based on the international standards, the bookkeeper should be a separate person of the auditor by law. The auditor is the one that will prepare and review the financial statements and give an opinion towards the quality and of the bookkeeping. So the information the auditor needs to start with, for sure, is the bookkeeping for the year of that will be audited. If it's in Excel format, it's better for us. If there are any financial statements, we need at minimum the last 3 years. We need all the hard copy of the documents or access to them, or in a soft copy. We need analysis of payroll, if it exists. Any communications with the attorneys and secretary of the company, so we can see if there are any, it's called contingent liabilities. It means that there are liabilities that might occur in the future. And of course, any other issues that the manager believes important for the audit, it should be given to us. Thank you for your time. I apologize about my mistake. And I'm ready for answers, for questions.
Hi everyone, you can ask your questions to the YouTube chat, but also if you don't want to share your question with everyone, so you can contact us on the details in the description under this video. And also we have a Telegram channel, so you can ask your question there as well. I will share you with here's it. So okay, so we don't have questions, so I think we can stop right now. Have a good day, everyone, and be safe.